Hey, those that show up, go up. Well, hello there. Oh, it's good to see you guys. We're going to be starting soon. So bring your questions because I am ready to answer these questions. It is Marima,
Mariama,
Cynthia.
thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, yes. And Cynthia. Hey there.
Hello.
Happy New Year's Eve. I guess you would say this is what this is all about. And just want to make sure that everybody is on. They could see me. Everybody
Yeah,
has a
that's
great
great.
background. Good, good. So this is really just flowing with you guys. So I'm just really flowing with you guys in terms of what it is that you want to ask me. Ask me anything about marketing, PR, branding, social media. Don't ask me about Clubhouse. I'm really just kind of like not feeling Clubhouse. The whole conversations. I would say, and this is my feeling about Clubhouse, just really, really quick. It's not recorded. So if you're going to have this conversation and you want to do these rooms and you want to have these guests, do a Facebook Live, do a podcast, do a Periscope. I mean, then you have some traction. You have something that you can repurpose. I- I'm great for talking. We're talking. I'm recording now while we're doing this, but it's just kind of like don't get caught up on the shiny objects. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the chat as well. If you don't want to say anything or whatever, I'll read the chat as well. There's Dr. Josiah there. All right, so I can see you guys going across here, so it'll be good. And if you want to ask anything like about media, where should you start? What do you say? Where do you go to get whatever you need to get? Uh, it's just been doing this about 3 decades. So career wise, just so that you know where I started, career wise, I started my first job out of college was actually the Detroit Free Press. And I stayed there for 7 years. I was scared to quit. I didn't know what to, I was like, okay, I got this job. It's like, when do I quit? And I kept getting promotions and that sort of thing. I was stringing, I was doing promotions. I had a lot of fun there. And the JOA came, which is a joint operating agreement where the Detroit Free Press and Detroit News started. And they said, does anyone want to leave? And I was like, oh my God, finally I get my chance to go do something. I really was like, when I first got out of college in 80 something, I was like, I don't know when you're supposed to quit a job. I mean, I didn't know. So anyway, stayed there until I took a buyout and I said, I want to do something different. I've been in print this whole time and I really want to figure out what else is there about media. Now, while I was in college, I worked at the radio station and also was advertising manager at our school newspaper. So I said, well, let me try broadcast because I heard you can make a lot of money in broadcast. So I went and sold radio advertising for about 3 years. And what I found when I did radio advertising, I'm doing promotions and calling on clubs and anyway, radio advertising and clubbing and all that kind of stuff because a lot of radio promotions were connected to like beer and alcohol, all that. And I wasn't really feeling it. I was getting close to an age where I was like, it just wasn't setting right in my spirit. And in the interim, I started a nonprofit organization called BART, Blacks in Advertising, Radio, and Television. And that was really to bring together Blacks who were in advertising, radio, and television and public relations. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, Ida. And so it was because I saw the industry as racist. Now, that is over 20 something years ago. There were not a lot of Black people in advertising, radio, and television. They weren't in advertising agencies. There was always this whole thing where the Black people were at the bottom, the white people were making all the money because it was a commission kind of advertising that we had to do. And I thought that was unfair. So eventually, started that nonprofit organization, ran it for about 10 years, brought in other African American Black students, gave out scholarships. The organization grew to about 1,000 people. We ran it roughly for, well, until I had a daughter. And really during that time, I met my mentor, George Frazier, at that time, who really talked to a lot about networking and that sort of thing. And I said, you know what, I really felt, how do we say it, felt a calling to really do something with Blacks. And I really wanted to do something with ministry. So during that same time, when I ran this nonprofit, I got a tap on the shoulder to go work for a nonprofit. Had never worked for a nonprofit before. I was like, oh, okay. And so I was director of development. Anyone in here, director of development? Director of development means that you are the fundraising hat. We did events, we did newsletters, we did databases, we did everything. The organization was called Joy of Jesus. And I was like, whoo, it's a lot of work. And I loved it though. I loved it. It was a work that I felt I was called to. And that's when I really found my calling. After that, I got tapped on the shoulder to go be the director of public relations for the Salvation Army, larger nonprofit. The nonprofit that I was the director of development was $1 million. Salvation Army was $30 million. So I just did the PR portion for the Salvation Army. Loved it. Could not say anything bad about it. Eventually had my daughter, still running the other nonprofit, the Blacks in Advertising, Radio, and Television. And I realized that a lot of African Americans who are in ministry do not know these marketing tools, skills, secrets, whatever you want to call them. And I really felt that this is 2000. I really felt that Black churches, specifically, is what I felt it was called to, needed to know how to market themselves better. They really need to know about branding. Salvation Army had a brand. They had a shield. They had a red kettle. They were branded. We did newsletters. I mean, we uniforms. The whole thing about the Salvation Army is branding. But most people don't know that it is a church. Word salvation, right? It's really a church. So the Salvationists had their own brand going together. Now, what I found was that clients were a lot of what the Salvation Army helped in terms of people like me of color. I was one of the few public relation directors at the Salvation Army. Mostly they were Salvationists or either white people. So I felt like, what is this about? Why aren't Blacks really moving into this whole area of marketing and really promoting to really get their message out in terms of black churches were doing things, but I just felt there was a different call. So anyway, long story short, everybody's coming on. um, Worked at the Salvation Army for about 7 years, so you kind of look and see that I'm a little bit up in age, a little seasoned there, so like 7 years here, 7 years there. And by the time I started Ministry Marketing Solutions, there was nobody really doing ministry marketing and working with pastors. Why do pastors need to be promoted? And doing books, who was really doing, who did books in 2000, right? Because self-publishing was not a thing, right? That was like, if you self-publish, you that ain't a real book. But I worked with the publishing houses that worked with Black authors. That is Bishop Hilliard, that was T.D. Jakes, that was Creflo Dollar. These are the Black authors at Dr. Miles Monroe. These were the Black authors. They said, well, this young lady, me, at that time I was young, can work with our Black Christian authors who were essentially our speakers, right? They were speakers first and then they became authors. And so that's how ministry marketing came about. And from there, I also worked with Christian Television Network, TCT, CTN. I was actually a producer with CTN, which is a Christian Television Network. That's where I met a lot of my clients eventually, Michelle McKinney Hammond being one, Valerie Burton being one, a lot of different ones that, name dropper, that sort of thing. But I worked with them in terms of really doing their marketing, PR, and branding. This is all before social media. So I'm an OG. Yep, I'm an OG. So this is all before social media. I mean, I was just fussing with some of my clients way back then to get them on MySpace because they were like, I don't need to do all that. They were like, what? What do you do MySpace? So that was when I saw the light bulb came on that the gatekeeper in terms of getting to the media, really the whole point of getting eyes and ears on what your project is, really could go straight from the media. I saw that early on. So that's why when people say, oh my God, you've got so many friends on Facebook. I was on Facebook before people really my age were on Facebook. Same thing with Twitter. I got like 25,000 people on Twitter, 25,000 on LinkedIn, because I saw in terms of marketing and PR, that's how the future is going to be. I saw that in like 2005, 2006. I did my first podcast in 2007 on Blog Talk Radio. I interviewed Kirk Franklin, Yolanda Adams, Reverend Run, Lamar from Sanford and Son, uh, and that was on Blog Talk Radio because I Rudy Rasmus. So a lot of my clients were talking about their books on Chocolate Pages. That was called Black Books, Chocolate Pages. Get it? So anyway, so we had them on doing podcasting early on, and again, seeing different shifts and different things and seeing how social media is taking over, that the media, traditional media, has taken a back seat. people don't really pitch the media anymore because they figure that I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I have Facebook Live, I've got this and that. But there's nothing more relevant when the media sources you out, or they give you a how do I say it? They give you a validation that
Mhm.
you've been seen on, heard on, uh, print, stories written about in different publications or different radio, different television. So that's where I really want people to come back to, because anybody can throw up a website. Anybody can say whatever they want about on Instagram. They can say whatever they want about who they are on Clubhouse. They can say what, but until a journalist, a real journalist, really vets you out and says, okay, you're the source for my story. They have journalistic ethics that they have to abide by, and they write a story about you. That weighs more than what you say. I don't care if you say it every day on Facebook that you're an expert, you're an expert, you're an expert. Until someone else says it, media vetted, it's really, that's where it holds the weight. So that's what this conversation is about today. And you can ask questions, you can put them in the chat, or we can talk back and forth. Uh, is it, am I pronouncing your name? Marima?
Mariama.
Mariama. Okay. So I wasn't sure of the accent on the A, Mariama. So you were the here first. So if you want to ask me a question, because you were here first, and anyone else, if you want to trying to see how we can work this so that it's not really crazy. Just
I
like we
think,
would if we were in just like we were if we were in a conversation. So you know not to talk over anybody. So go on with your question then, Mariama, if you have a
hey
question.
family, how are you? Happy New
Good,
Year.
good.
I know Cynthia was we may have joined at the same time as well. So it's great to see everyone. So Pam, just wondering, there's so many different options, from YouTube to Instagram to LinkedIn to,
Girl.
Clubhouse. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many now. And, there's the whole conversation about, you should really niche, right? Focus in on your your primary audience. And then some people are like, no, you should be broader. Do you have any foresight or just any thoughts about that? Niche or not
Okay.
niche, and or maybe key platforms to focus in on.
Yeah. So I had a coach when I started my business. I really didn't get the coach till about 2005 because I was
Yeah,
just really used to having a job. So
yeah,
I didn't really know how to run a business. So I finally got a coach like about 2005, and I was like, "Hey, I need some help. It's like this thing is growing, and I don't know what I'm doing." And one of the things he said to me, he says, get rich in a niche." And that was when Ministry Marketing Solutions, I was working with different Christian authors and speakers, and a lot of people said, "Well, you do PR. Can you help my dentist? Can you do PR? Can you help my I have an attorney that needs some PR?" And it was like, no, I don't do that, because what happens is you're spreading yourself too thin, and so you never get to be an expert. So because I was and you have to really fight sometime for the focus in order to really say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not going to join Clubhouse because I have an audience that's growing on YouTube. Or no, I'm not going to do Facebook because I have an audience that's growing on LinkedIn. I mean, it's really, you have to be intentional.
yeah.
But what would I say,
You can call me Mari. It's fine.
Mari? Okay, so Mari, so what is your primary niche? Are you a speaker? Are you an author? Are you a coach? What is your
My
niche?
primary niche is consulting and
Okay.
consulting and training, and then certainly
Okay.
diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then also leadership. So kind of.
All right. So I'm going to say this, and you probably already know it, but your primary area is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Are you really robust on LinkedIn?
Yeah, try definitely trying to be more. But yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are diversity inclusion and training and consulting, just so that you know, LinkedIn is the business area.
Yeah.
Instagram is more like, and not that you can't, and I'm just, just generally, not that you can't find customers and that sort of thing on Facebook and Instagram, but I would say the larger contracts will come on LinkedIn. My clients, primarily the larger ones, they have seen me everywhere. They've seen me on Twitter and this and that, but the larger contracts have come from LinkedIn. When I say the larger ones, like 20, 30, 40, $50,000
Yes. Yeah.
contracts have come from
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. I would agree
IG,
with that.
Facebook. I mean, I get all kind of stuff that's talking about you want to play a game on Facebook. I'm like, you get out of here. And the Clubhouse thing is just a I love Clubhouse. It's great, but if I had a lot of time on my hands, I probably would be on Clubhouse a lot. But LinkedIn is really where you should be. And so when I say robust, videos on LinkedIn, start a
Mm.
group in LinkedIn,
Okay.
join and engage in the groups
Okay.
besides starting your own group.
Okay.
There is a newsletter you can do on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
There is stories in LinkedIn. I mean, you could do LinkedIn learning.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
yourself can apply to be a teacher on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay.
There is make sure you have company pages. I'm gonna check out your page on LinkedIn and see what's going on in your LinkedIn. There's company pages in your LinkedIn. There are you could do LinkedIn lives. And so just so that I did LinkedIn live. It's been probably maybe a couple of months, and I have had a couple of clients from LinkedIn live, and I
Okay.
just started.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I just started, but I've been around, right, for a long time. But
Yeah.
video on LinkedIn Live
Yeah.
converted a client who saw me one time on LinkedIn Live because she saw my authenticity and something just leapt up in her spirit that, oh my God, I need to work with her.
Okay.
So maybe she could have saw me on Periscope. Yeah, maybe she could have saw me on Facebook Live. Everybody's on Facebook Live. Maybe she could have saw me in a Facebook group. And I just have a whole opinion about Facebook groups that, that's a whole nother thing. Hey, Octavia and Rodney, I see some of the Ready, Set, Go members coming in here. And Marcy as well. So LinkedIn is your main one. You need to have a presence in others because I tell you why. And Twitter will be your other one because you want to be in media. Everyone here should have an active Twitter account. The media is always on Twitter. There's probably not a reporter or journalist that's not on Twitter. They will at least have a Twitter account. So you can follow them and find them. So I say you can, because when I go on LinkedIn, I hit my share button and it goes to Twitter. So between LinkedIn and Twitter, that's where I am. I will answer my DMs or inbox on LinkedIn. I'm very bad about answering DMs on IG. I'm very bad about answering definitely Messenger on Facebook. Uh, there's just different ways where I know my clients are, the serious clients are. Now they may see me and I make an appearance, but that's not where I'm doing business and where I'm getting the contracts. But the main thing about any social media and any PR is to get people to go back to your website
Okay.
and convert them.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank
I see a
you.
question over here. Marcy says, okay, here, okay. So I'm gonna read Marcy's, and unless Cynthia, did you have them? Because you were here first too. Did you have a question, or I can read Marcy's?
No, I'm good. I'm just taking it all in right now. Thank
Okay. All
you.
right. So I'm gonna read Marcy. Marcy is
Thank
in the
you.
Ready, Set, Go Speak program, and we launched that about a couple of months ago. And people are in there. And one of the, I think it was Kimmy, who's a publisher of Purpose Driven Women magazine. She says, I'm just on module 3. She said, and there's so much in there. She said, this is such a good value. She says, I feel like what did she say? She says, I feel like I'm stealing. I was like, no, it's not. I said, I just want to give. So what's in it, just so that you know, it's media interviews of non-media friends of mine. There's a course in there that has 12 modules, and Michael Wynn has gone through that as well. There is information in there, which is a resource vault of everything that in terms of, I try to organize a little bit better, publicity, publishing, platform building, positioning, so that it's at podcasting, so that you can find the different modules of things that you need. So that's in the Ready, Set, Go. So Rodney is there. So, and Octavia is as well. So it says, hello, I'm launching a faith-based book on me and my husband's death, defying COVID story here in the pandemic. We've had a lot of local press on CBS, NBC, Fox, etc. And I want to know how to gain national exposure as well as gain access to celebrities who may have a vested personal or professional interest in our story. So Marcy, we've had this conversation. So this is the thing that I'm going to say. Your story didn't start with just that one incident. I need you to build it out, because what hospital I believe he was in was St. John's?
Johns Hopkins.
Okay, so their press department, their media relations department did a press release. And that they have media contacts that had you on the CBS, NBC, and Fox. They were in that area. They did it for, of course, it was a great story, a miracle story, but they also did it for John Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the media department. So knowing that, that's what they do. We need to know your story before this. It's not because what happens is it's just an article, it's just a one story, and media cycles turn all the time. They turn all the time. So they need to know what are the legs, what are the angles, what is the hook, what is it before this happened? Because it is a one story. And I won't say that you just had your one hit wonder with that, because it's that you can build more out of it, but it needs to be developed as a larger story for it to be a book, not a story. And I always tell this to people, and I said, if you just have one incident, you can go in a magazine and reach, I don't know, 50,000 people, say it's Ebony Magazine, or you can do a book. And the average author really sells about 200 books a year. So do you want your name on the spine, or do you want to reach more people with your story? Or this is another way. I mean, you can blog about it and also get the story out as well. But if it's a book, it needs to be developed. It can't just be that one incident for the entire book. So give you an example, I think it was a movie about a man who died, and he 90 Minutes in Heaven, I believe it was. I believe it was 90 Minutes in Heaven. And it was a book, New York Times bestseller. And it also, he was a pastor, I believe. I want to say he was a pastor, and he died and he went to heaven for 90 minutes. That was that was the hook. That was the story. Cecil Murphy, who's my mentor, he's a fabulous ghostwriter, like the best in the world, Cecil Murphy. He ghost wrote this story for this pastor. Now he's a pastor, he already had a platform. Okay. So he began speaking around the country before the book was really done and finished with the ghostwriter. He went and he built his platform. And so with anything, I don't care what it is, you do need a platform for a book. It can't be one incident that this happened and bam, here's the book, and now I'm on national TV. I wish it were that easy, but media, they're very, very shrewd. They're snobby. They're my friends, but they are my friends, but they really don't care, because they're on to the next thing. They're on to the next thing. I mean, even this whole thing with Trump going on, they're on to the next thing. It's as much as he has blown up a whole bunch of stuff, they're on to you see how the news cycle always rolls. So your story has to have a bigger hook. What was it before? What is it after? Does he want to build a platform? So you're in the program knowing how to build a brand, how to build a platform, so that when the media comes to you, it's not just this one story, which they look and they say, well, they already ran it. They ran on CBS, NBC, Fox. What else is it? We see the press release from John Hopkins. Okay, so what else? And so that's what I'm saying. So working with, there's a lady, her name is Devon. I can't think of Devon's name, but she's a book coach. And I can put you in touch with her to really help develop the story so that it has legs to live longer than the news cycle.
Thank you. I will be glad to talk to her. I also have, I feel like the book is pretty well developed. I mean, we'll be like pretty much, the story's pretty well developed. I have a professional editor that worked with me on that. So we'll be actually launching it within the next month or so.
So if it's a story, what I'm just trying to get you to say, it's one story, but the story needs to have longevity beyond the incident.
No, I get it. You can't see me, but I'm sitting here shaking my head. I'm agreeing.
And a good book to read, or just even look at, track it. Because one of the things that I find that most authors don't do is really knowing the industry that they're about to embark in. Just like anything, you're about to embark in a whole industry. So you need to know who are the other type of players in the field. So not just having a book, writing a story, getting an editor, putting a cover on it, and getting it out, but knowing the industry. So go to Amazon and let Amazon be your best friend to look at what is really the main thing that our people who are reading, what they're reading now. 90 Minutes in Heaven, if you could go and Google that and see the different type of strategies and media that they have been in. The 90 minutes ahead, he had one accident, he died, and he came back. And he talked about that story, but it also had a lot of different legs in it. So when he went on TBN and when he went on the different Christian shows, because he had a platform, he was a pastor, he also talked about that as well. So go in, there's another one too. I want to say, I won't say The Shack because The Shack is fiction, but The Shack was also a book that really, quote unquote, people think like came out of nowhere and it became a movie. But that
Okay, good.
book had a great hustle behind it. I mean, his church was behind him 100%. And they really, his story before he wrote that book was that he was homeless. I mean, so you've got to, I don't know the whole story, but you have to know the industry to know what is a bestseller and what really makes a good book, not just one story. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Who else has a question? Okay, let me look over here. Hey, Cassandra. Hey. Okay, so I'm looking over here. So you could put it in the chat or you can just, her website was prayingwifehelps.com. Prayingwifehelps.com. Very good, very good.
Can I, Miss Perry, can I say thank you? I know this is not a question, but
yeah, there you are, Rodney. Okay.
So I just want to say thank you to you because I have just benefited so much from your little tips, from your modules, from the lessons, from the live seminars. And
good.
I just appreciate.
You're good. Rodney, I will say this, you're a teachable spirit.
Thank you.
Because there's some people that aren't teachable and they hold back or they just think that, oh my God, this is way too much. But you take it in the bite size that you need and you work it to fit your situation. And what I found is that okay, I'm gonna say this about ego marketing. So you're not in this just for your ego. You really want to help people. You really have a message that you want to sell. So if I say, Rodney, we don't need you to do a video where you're this close to the camera, and you'll be like, oh, I get it. Or like, right. Rodney, I think I need to have them touch you up. You're a better looking guy than that. They didn't take this picture. So it's different things. It's like, it's like your parents tell you, sit up, sit straight. Fold your arms, that sort of thing. It's like, okay, I got it. And that's what you have to do because someone who sees something in you, and I see something in you, you just have to do it. Just do it and just say, okay, that's what I have to do. And I'm not going to second guess it. It's going to be better. And and because of that, you've been having success.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's more to come in 2021. That's the slogan. More to come in 2021 because we done with 2020. I'm telling you, I am done. Michael Wynn, Mr. Habits Guy, I see you over there now. What do you have to say? Unmute.
Yes. Hi. First of all, good riddance to 2020. I'm following you all the time. I had a little setback. Well, I shouldn't say it wasn't a setback for me. My director, I'm working with. I retired, as you know, and I went back. And just as you said, LinkedIn is just a great resource. I'm doing one of a big contract. And the director there is sick. She's been out. And I thought that I would jump right in this first quarter. And I'm delaying the little things because I took on more responsibilities. But my biggest question is going through this whole process. I wrote the book. I wrote 2 books, just as you said, based on my story with habits. I gained a lot of traction, and I went to the next level, got the press release and all. And I started my coaching program, and that's my biggest challenge now. Coaching program versus a membership program.
Okay.
Having the information is always coming. Choosing the right target or how you're going to design that program, because there are some coaching programs you can go through and you can set it up as a manual type or a membership or a video type coaching program. Do you have any suggestions on what, because I do use LinkedIn and I see a lot, and my overall goal is to try to, to pick up clients through offering some coaching program.
So the fallacy, I'm gonna say this, fallacy or fantasy, I told this to Race Go speak a couple of weeks ago, is that we can create these online courses and they're going to sell by themselves, right? Because you've got these modules and all the information is there. realistically, a lot of people don't go through the modules unless they have some kind of coach or accountability,
Mhm.
because they just won't. Just the majority of the people. How many people have bought programs and then it's like it's sitting in your computer? They
Yeah,
just stuffed in there. They just, So in terms of maybe a hybrid between your coaching and your online course, but because you work as well, that's kind of like the challenge, I guess, because now you're you've got a full-time job and you can't do as much. But I will say, when you're on your calls with people and you do your free consultation calls, what are they asking for specifically? Are they asking for you one-on-one? Are they asking like, hey, Mike, I want to be in your group program, or hey, Mike, just give me a book, or Mike, just give me a online course? What are they asking for from you?
well, yeah, direction. Some will ask in terms of knowing my background, if it's some financial literacy, or they'll tie to habits, which I like what you suggested. You got me focused on the habits more so than the medical side of it. I was getting too much conversation in the medical side of how did you defeat
Yeah,
the bipolar and all that. I was
yeah.
like, okay, I don't want to.
You're not trying to be that person.
Right,
Right.
right. Just moving forward with those habits and being a part of it. There's some membership programs where you can have someone on type of membership, and you giving them some kind of coaching,
Hmm.
in regards to, if it's starting someone has a goal in mind as far as starting a business. What are the pitfalls? You look at those things, because being an auditor, financial with a financial background, and we see most of that. I can help you with that direction. So I'm trying to get them focused on, if they have a business or mindset, what areas do they want to focus in? Starting a business, having funds, putting together an actual financial package, an actual business plan, moving in those regards. But I didn't want to be that person to kind of take that part over. Just a consistent way of doing things, because that's my big thing is habits. Just, where are you? How are you going to start? What are you doing every day? So I'm trying to bridge between not just getting them started, but how they stand focused on getting started.
Right. So I can see where you're saying like a membership, because you want them to be consistent. So what are you offering them that would make them want to be a member? Something that they're learning? What are
Yeah,
they?
and that's what I was looking at. And because like you say, the online courses, I'm with one program and I look at it and I'm not so convinced, because just as you said, some people will buy
Accountability.
it and they really want more. And I'm finding that out as I am putting it together. I'm having challenges with, okay, they're gonna want more than me just telling them this bit. They want to hear. That's what I was thinking about. I think one of the people that you were involved with had a pretty good membership. Justin Burns. Uh, he was on one of your. You spoke in one area, but it allows you to be in touch with that person in some way. It's a quick video, if it's a video, or it's a, a, a moment that you can engage with them when they get
Right.
behind on it.
So part of it is that, have you tried just doing private clients, Mike?
Not
Just,
in a while, no, but I that's one of my goals. I'm doing this for
yeah.
first quarter. I'm doing all the planning for this first quarter, which I'm trying to
Yeah. I
have a
think
launch
I
date
think
in February.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think by doing, and I'm just thinking from the experience of doing a ministry marketing solution, it wasn't until years later that I really started doing group. Um, I did PR boot camp years ago. I did that, what, 2010 or so, and I brought it back a few years ago. But PR boot camp was when I realized that once I started doing a more one-on-one with clients, I realized then that there were a lot of similarities that a lot of them had. So then I could do a group. But I started out individually, having individual conversations with people, coaching them one-on-one, until I really realized that now I have something that I can offer the group because there's similarities. So the way you're kind of doing this, like, okay, what is it that, what you're saying is like, I you, how to say, I want to do the group because it's convenient for you. but really people are going to buy what is going to work for them until you
Right.
do it one-on-one with people. Like even if you do it for the first quarter,
Okay.
do that so that you can find by the second quarter there was similarity between, and you'll know because you're like, I'm saying the same thing to all 5 of the people.
Yeah.
So now that's my group program because now you know the language of how to sell it as a group. But right now it's like, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So
And
I would say that. And LinkedIn will be a best place. And really be robust with LinkedIn, go in groups in LinkedIn. When you see people have issues and things like that, go inside their inboxes and send them messages and that sort of thing. Because you're not trying to, the fallacy is, or the fantasy is that people just think that, oh, I can just go put a lot of Facebook ads out there and a whole lot of Instagram and I'm going to get all this business. And that doesn't happen all the time. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It probably does for some, but for the most part, I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay. I have a following. People have been on my list. Some people have been on my list for years before they bought anything. Okay. Because there's just so many options. And I think the further we get into 2021, it's even be more competitive. So I think focusing on people one-on-one is what people want because there's so much noise. And so if someone has trouble with trying to stay accountable or habits, having them in a point where they're with a lot of people would allow them to hide and you couldn't dig down to what their real issues were.
great. Great.
It's
Yep,
kind of
yep,
like
yes, yes.
I did Weight Watchers at one point years ago, and the thing about Weight Watchers is it's accountability, right? So it'll
Yeah.
work if we work it. So you go to the meetings and, it's kind of like, you talk about food or whatever. And so you have this accountability, everybody weighs themselves and that sort of thing. So people need that accountability because it's like, I'm going to be checked. I can't eat this ice cream because next time I go to Weight Watchers, I want to be able to say I lost 2 pounds and not gain 2 pounds. So that sort of thing. So you want to have the accountability so you can hear what their issues are.
Okay.
And I think that will be better.
Yeah.
And
I
you can
want to
really,
lastly say, is it Marcy that said it seems like sometimes she feel like she's stealing stuff? Is when I first got into the mentoring, the group, the information is so valuable. It's amazing that every time you get lost, you find your way back. And I guarantee you, it's something somewhere you didn't said, I don't know if it's 5 or 6 years or a week ago, that I can find my way to. There it is. So I appreciate that too. I really
and the
do.
photo shoot planner. Remember you did the photo shoot with
Yes.
Giselle?
Yes.
And I gave her that photo shoot planner. She said, girl, this
Yes.
is gold. She said, this right here is $2,500.
Yes. I did. I appreciate the value behind that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
because a photo shoot planner is important. Photos are everything now, optics are everything, but you need a strategy for it. I'll give you a quick example of what a photo shoot planner will do. If you are a therapist or a counselor or a licensed practice something or another in the medical field, you need a photo shoot planner to really put together your pictures for your for your tribe, for your website, for your email marketing, for your social media. You need, so as a therapist, you're going to you want to come off, the brand is, you want to come off authoritative, knowledgeable, you want to come off compassionate. There's words, and Mike knows that in the photo shoot planner, it has like you go into the psychic of who you're trying to attract by your photos, right? Well, we had one person that came to the photo shoot, did not get the photo shoot planner, did not get it, and they came on looking like they were going to sing at a nightclub. I'm like, okay. So I'm having props, and Mike knows I will give you a prop. If you're a speaker, you're going to have a microphone. So she wants to speak. But when we give her the mic, she looked like she was Patti LaBelle. I'm like, oh, she don't look like she's speaking. She looked like she's going to sing a song. I was like, okay. So had the hair makeup done, clothes, outfit was great, slamming, looking great, but the photos can't use for the things that you intended for. It's a brand. It's a branding shoot. So what brand are you trying to, or do you want to, do you want to sing? Do you want to be a performer? You want to get into, I don't know what those things at Tinder or, swipe left, swipe right, or, it's like, You got to get the right photos for that. So anyway, that's just a sidebar.
Yeah.
Good. Yours are perfect because you had the director's chair, you had the Wynn. I mean, you could do so much with your name. So anyway,
Yeah.
so Mike Wynn, Wynn, Mike Wynn. And what's your website?
Coach, I'm sorry, Mike Wynn at Coach Wynn. That's M-I-K-E. So I'm sorry, MIKEWYNN at Coach Wynn, W-I-N. That's Coach W-I-N. So,
But the website is
my website is michaelwynn.com.
okay, good. Right. michaelwynn.com. Exactly.
Yep.
So
W-Y-N-N.
so when you go on podcasts, radio shows, or whatever, and they
Yeah.
say, what's your website?
Oh, yes.
Don't say www, just say mikewynn.com.
Yeah.
What's your
yeah, I made it
website?
simple.
You're gonna know it's www.
Yeah.
So I'm training a little bit of media training I do with my private clients. It's like, okay, just say mikewynn.com, making sure that you buy your name.com. Cassandra, I know you did. Ida, you did. Lisa, I think we talked about that. Dr. But if your name is already taken, Michelle, if it's already taken, then you'll just say, Michelle Sturgis speaks, or author Michelle Sturgis, or, but you want to be able to, if you're on a television show, radio show, what's your website? VernellWilson.com. Now, if your name is hard to spell, you may have to spell it out for them, but for the most part, you do want to buy your name.com and just go to GoDaddy and do that.
You never realize how valuable your name is. I didn't even know my name it was hard to get for a long time because Michael Wynn is the brother of Steve Wynn, the casino owner. And he had it for a long time and he let it go. And once I got it, other people was going, and you know how Google ranked the value?
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised to see that, because
real estate.
The connection, I didn't even know a lot of people was connecting themselves with his brother, so.
Yeah, pastors have to do that too, even though the pastor may have a church. And I was working with Bishop Andrew Merritt, Straight Gate Church here in Detroit. He and TD Jakes did a lot of work together, and I did work with Bishop Merritt. And so we started working with him for his book. And I said, well, we're going to buy your name, Bishop Andrew Merritt. Somebody had it, and they wanted like $4,000 for it. So we just did Andrew Merritt. It's like, okay, well, you just, just whatever. I was like, what? So make sure you buy your name. Make sure you buy your name, please. That is so important. That is so important. Any other questions? Thanks, Mike. Thank you. And your cousin is in the Ready, Steady, Go Speak program as well, Regina. So Regina is like, I said, just breathe, Regina, just breathe. We can't, listen, if it's taken me 20 years to pull all the information together, you cannot go through it in a month. All right. If you could, you'd be teaching the program. So I said, you're not going to get all of it, but that's why it's a membership. It's a continuity program. So you can do it at your own pace. I'm there and work on one piece at a time. And that's with anything, with your plans for 2021, work on one piece at a time of whatever you're going to do. If you're going to just say the first quarter, I'm going to work with just private clients and I just want to get 4 clients first quarter, then just work on that and let that happen. Don't let the other stuff. Well, what about the Facebook ads? What about the reels on Instagram? Should I be doing? Now I do it because I have to try it, because I have to recommend it for other people. So you will see a reel, and I'm just looking to see what the how it works and the difference between a reel and then maybe IGTV. Okay. You could do an IGTV and you could do a reel. Depending on what your market is, I would say if you're going to be on IG, do IG reels, because that has more power to it versus IGTV, unless you're doing an interview with some celebrity, that type of thing, because it's just the background of IG. Doing stories, that works only if you are doing something where you're showing behind the scenes of putting something together. So I have to do it all, but I don't suggest if you have a business that you do it all. My business is to really help other people figure out their best way. So I have to try all the different ones. And that's why the only thing that I tell everybody that they need to do is Twitter, because the media is on Twitter. And you can really follow people on Twitter, a media list on Twitter. So that's it. But yeah, the media is there. And any other questions? I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm telling you straight, no chaser, because I will tell you if I know you for sure, I will tell you some of the things that I can see that you're doing that maybe you can can fix. It says, Brunel said, very comprehensive course. She said, I agree. I recently had to, Oh, okay. I don't want to say, but I may need coaching and or mentorship. If you could provide or refer me to someone, please let me know. Okay. All right. So just let me know, Brunel, just what it is. Because you are in Kim Cole's group. Okay, you just muted yourself. You just muted yourself. You were unmuted.
I am. I'm in
Okay.
Kim Cole's course, and I'm really enjoying it.
So
And
that's
like I
your mentor.
mentioned, I think that your course is just one of the most comprehensive that I have ever experienced. And
Oh,
lately, I've been
good.
investing a lot, in trying to get my business off the ground and beyond, friends, family, and referrals. So I've been just investing and taking courses here, there, everywhere. But I must say that yours has just been the most
Oh,
comprehensive.
good.
It really
Thank you.
has.
Well, I
And
try to make sure that knowing if I were just starting out, what would I need? And I'm a publicist by trade, but you can't get PR unless you have a brand. And you can't really do a lot of things unless you have a platform. And you can't really have a platform sometimes until you do certain things. Publishing helps you get that juice, I guess you would say. It really positions you as an expert. So it was all put together intentionally. Podcasting, it's a lot of P's in there. It's publishing, platform building, partnering, positioning, publicity, and podcasting. So it's like Pam Perry, she like all these P's, and the social media is in there as well. But you see social media, if you go in the group, it's last. Social media is last because social media is really the point of social media is to drive traffic to your website, and your website should convert. When I say convert, it should build your email list. So when you're putting together like an author, a book proposal, for a publishing company, a quote unquote, a real publishing company, one of the things is I sat on some boards for some publisher companies from Moody Press, and they would say, okay, we're going to look at this. We're going to look at their book proposal, and they can care less what the book is about. You know what they're looking at? How many followers do they have? How big is their email list? That's important. Do they have a platform? What is it? That's what they're looking at. And then when they decide that, okay, so she has a platform, then we're going to grant her a book deal, a book contract. So that's why I always say when I'm putting it all together, it's like that platform is so important. It really is. Just like Marcy, she was saying that, she's been on the ABC and NBC. But if you don't have a website, you've been on all those things. If people weren't going to your website to get on your list to get more information, it's just that they saw you once. Now, how can you get them back? Because we very rarely circle back and try to find someone, that we saw on social media. So.
And I do
Okay,
have a website. I do
Mhm.
have a website, but I know from learning through your class, I need to change it because I have a GoDaddy site currently, and I need to change that. I know to a WordPress. I know I need my VernellWilson.com. I need a lot.
Yes,
I
yes.
really
Start
do.
there. But start there. I mean, a lot of people will just say, oh, you need Facebook ads. And no, we need the foundational things first and build from that. And VernellWilson.com, you get it for like $10 or whatever. So make sure that you do that today. Make that your 2020 thing that you're going to get done. So you can check that off and say, I did do that. Because what happens is that people will say, you can forward Vernell Wilson to your Facebook page if you want to. At this point, you can forward VernellWilson.com to your Twitter account, to your LinkedIn account. You can, once you buy it, you can forward it to anything. So it doesn't have to stay like empty. You can, I have about 60 domain names, but they're all forwarded to Pam Perry PR. Okay. So you can forward it if you have a really robust Facebook page, not your personal page, but your business page, you can forward it to that for now until you build it out. Don't do the GoDaddy thing.
Yeah, I am going to cancel it. So I'll probably look at some of the referrals in the forum and get a WordPress
Dr.
website
Cynthia
built.
has one that she's putting together, and she's using a referral that I had in there, very inexpensive, and get it together, and you can build it out. Just make sure that you get the WordPress. Why don't I like Wix? Why don't I like Weebly? Why don't I like What's another one? Joomla. Why don't I like Squarespace? Because they're not compatible with all the other stuff that I know eventually you're going to be doing.
Okay.
WordPress has widgets and gadgets for everything where you can do plugins. So if you want to do a membership course, it's WordPress. If you want to do a podcast, it's so you can, this is a thing, you can jerry rig anything to look right online. You can make it work with a lot of glue and bubble gum, right? You can make it look right. But if you want to grow and scale, you want to get the foundational things, because you would hate to start like, oh my God, I've got all this information now on this Wix site. I want to transfer to WordPress. Well, it won't transfer well, or some of it will be lost or whatever, especially Weebly. Oh my God, that's like the worst one. But you want to make sure, if you're a legitimate business, to start with the foundational things first. And they don't have to be expensive. You just start it. Okay. Mari asked, she says, should I have multiple sites or different aspects of your business on one site? Okay, here we go back to the focus thing. So I think everything should be on one site. And depending on, if you have a site and you're consulting, doing taxes, and then you also selling candles, obviously that's two different sites, but everything could be under one, and then you just have different tabs, if that's what you mean, Mari. So different sites, because this is a thing. The more sites you have, you're competing with yourself. So it's all about SEO and Google juice. So if you have a site over here, a site over here, a site over there, then now you're competing against yourself. The more content you have on the site, the better you will rise in the search engines, without sounding real technical. But so you can have different sites, you can have different domains and point it to the same site. So say, for instance, you may have, I don't know, give me an example, Mari, so I can.
So for example, the consulting and the coaching, on one site, and then the training on a different site.
Nope. You can put it in a different tab. So it can be maritraining.com and point to that tab on the same site. Okay. And then the coaching and consulting is on, you see what I'm saying? So you can make a page. So for instance, if you go to Pam Perry podcast.com, PamPerryPodcast.com, that goes to my page on my website, Pam Perry PR, but it just goes to the podcast page. I could have created another site that said Pam Perry Podcast, but why? When I got all my blogs and everything, the site is like, 15 years old. So I want everything on the site. The older the site is, the more Google juice is going to have. It'll be Googleicious. So that's why I say, just keep everything on one, and you can do different tabs. And yours is related. So that definitely makes sure yours are on there. So when you promote it, you can promote the different tab, that name that you gave a URL to a different audience, but keep it on one site.
Okay.
And it'll save you so much. You don't have to update plugins on two sites and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Is it necessary to have so many domains? What is a good number to have? But it's not a good, I know people that have hundreds. That Mike Wynn just talked about. He says, "Oh, I've got this domain name now," and he says that people want to give him money for it. It's kind of like sometimes you could buy a domain and just let it be a waiting game, like real estate. You hold on to it till you get the highest bid. But you're not in that. If you're not in that business, Dante Lee, my friend Dante, he owns blacknews.com. He has thousands of domain names, but he's in that business. He bought Black everything, Black News, Black PR, Black History, Black this, Black that. So he went through one day and just bought domain names. So when everyone wants to buy blackhistory.com, he already bought it. He might even have anything on it. He could sell it for $5,000. He bought it for 10. So, but for me, I buy domain names based on different programs and things that I have. PamPerryPodcast.com is easier to say than to say go to PamPerryPR.com/podcast. Now, you didn't said too many stuff for people to, their brain is went like, okay, / forget it. I don't know. What did you say? So I buy a lot of domain names because I have a lot of different programs, but there's no number. Some people only have 2. My husband has 1. I have 60 or so, but like I said, Dante Lee has thousands. Any blacks, whatever, blacksomething.com. I think he even has blackspeaker.com, I believe. He doesn't use it, but he bought it, and then he'll eventually sell it. Yeah.
Pam, I have a quick question.
Yes, yes. Hey,
Um,
Dr. Lisa.
So I have a deadline for a book through a publishing company, and it's a healing guide for Black women.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking, is the best way to do snippets, because it's a combination of stories, and I've let people read snippets, and I said, this is so powerful. And it's snippets of, it's like a memoir with scripture, and healing is the
Like a
ultimate.
devotional in a way.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, and it cuts across because my background from doing diversity trainings to I'm a chef. And so I guess it's a follow-up to the question everybody's asking. I put it under one umbrella with, because I don't want to get spread out. And
Well,
I
you are the
know,
brand, so your name isn't going to change. So you are the brand. So whatever it is, and I say this from the standpoint, you are the brand, meaning that whatever um, Reverend Lisa, Dr. Lisa is selling, I'm going to buy because I like her brand. So if this week she's selling whatever, I like her, that's her brand, I'm going to go and check it out. So that's why you want to build one brand. You want to put it under you. You can do different things. Now, some
mhm,
people will do different sites that aren't under their brand because they have the intention of one day selling that off. That's
right,
different. But for you, your things are personal. They're really just your personal things. So
mhm,
I would say concentrate on the things that work first and then add to it. And that's what a real brand does. You know how sometimes it's product line extension. So like Tide, give an example. Tide has been like Tide for years, right? They got powder,
mhm,
they got liquid, this and that. Now Tide has like this liquid disinfectant spray for
right.
fabric.
Mhm,
I'm like, really? So now
mhm,
y'all doing it. Well, they just get on the COVID thing, right? So they got this disinfectant spray. So product line extension. But when they first started, they didn't come out with everything all at once because
mhm,
Tide itself hadn't really grabbed a hold of anything. So now as it grabs a hold of something, you have something, then you can add something different. I'll give you an example of something that I did that was a mistake. It was probably 2009, 2008 or 9. And in my business, I'd been known as ministry marketing and Pam Perry PR, and I primarily do that. I do services and I help people set up websites and podcasts and all that kind of stuff, right? So it has to do with marketing anyway around. So I eventually went to do a network marketing thing. And this network marketing thing I did had nothing to do with my brand, and
mhm,
it was confusing. I did get some clients and I did really well. What whatever you're about, you're going to usually go back to. So what I really happening is that I started really training people in my network marketing organization on how to do branding.
mhm,
that's that's what I
mhm,
started doing. I was like, why am I doing this business, which is taking away from the main core of who I am
mhm,
anyway? So I just said, whatever you sell, whether you're going to sell a network marketing, you still need a brand. You still are going to need to know how to position and promote yourself. You're still going to need to know how to talk to the media. You're still going to need how to write. So I would suggest anyone is like, okay, well, I'm going to sell skinny tea and, I'm going to do this and that. Don't dilute your brand based on
mhm,
the fact that someone tells you it's a great idea. And I would say, if God didn't really tell you to do it, don't do it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was feeling sort of the pressure because now I shared that this article's coming out, which I had no idea was coming out, something been working on. And now that's coming out nationally. And I feel I'm supposed to have this book done, but not need to worry about an article coming out and having something ready. So I just need to,
Long as you have a website. So do you have a website now?
yes, I need to go and really make that appropriate.
So, well, the whole thing of it is that, like I said, the website, if you just had a website with one page, because we had a client that had a website with one page until his site was done. He had a video on the website that really, basically welcomed people to the site. He told on the video who he was, and he collected an email address. And so now he's got everyone's email address. So his autoresponders, or he can email everyone and say, this is what's, the site is live. This is my podcast. I have a book coming out. So you're collecting information. You can say, oh, if you're a chef, I have a new recipe, whatever it is, but at least you have their email address, and you can even segment it. If you're interested in my, whatever part, whatever things that you're doing, if you're doing a lot of different things, click here and go on this list. So you can segment your list out. But at the very least, you need a one-page website that collects email addresses. And it doesn't have to be, you can do a 5-page site, contact page, about page. But don't get stressed out about it. Don't get stressed out about it. The main thing is, like, the whole thing is just have all your marketing PR go to the website to have people get on the list. And then you can talk to them once you have their email. You can talk to them about whatever. Don't send them too many emails. People send me too many emails. I unsubscribe. That's just me. You can tell me in one email once a week rather than 5 emails every day. Really?
Right.
I was actually going to ask that question. How often, if you out of your list, should you be sending? My first question, you answered it with Reverend Robinson, but my other question you just answered or made a comment to, is you have a list. I have a list. I get it from selling my book, and I was sending stuff out, but how often in terms of too much or too little? Is there an average?
Yeah, I think every day is too much.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, I even get one from my mentor, and he sends me one every day, and I'm like, I haven't read the one you sent me yesterday. So, people are busy. So once a week is respectable. Twice a week, sometimes if you have something going on, I send one out whenever I do 2 blogs on my blog. Whenever I have 2 articles on my blog, it'll automatically go out to my list, because not everybody's checking back on your blog. Or when I have a podcast, every time I do a podcast, I send out an email. And that's really it. Sometimes in between, like this was different. I did a broadcast email to let everyone know we're going to be on Zoom. We're going to do Q&A. But unless you have a program launching. Now, sometimes if you're doing a program that's launching, you'll do the sequence of emails. You may do like 12 or 13 emails over a period of 3 weeks, because you're launching. But if you do that on a regular, people will unsubscribe.
Right.
People unsubscribe because it's just too much. Unless you have something to say, But yeah, so that is it. Oh yeah, it says amen. Yeah, no, right. No, you got to have something to say. And that's what I kind of feel sometimes about Facebook Live. People just jump on Facebook Live and it's like, what are you talking about? Why are you even, I call it ego marketing. They just, just to be seen. It's like, why do you even, you had nothing really to say. And people are just jumping on and doing that. So a lot of times I don't even pay attention, and really we're in what they call the attention economy. It's all about attention. How do you get attention? And people really have to be strategic about what it is that they're saying, turning off notifications, not looking at what anyone else is doing, sitting with God. What is it that he's telling you to do? Serve the people who you're called to serve. Quit wondering what anyone else is doing. And I think Vernell said that. She says, oh, I bought a whole lot of different programs. Quit buying so many different programs and just, settle in on one thing. And that's what Ready, Set, Go, Speak is. It's just, I don't want people all over the place. Just settle into one, really get this going, then move to some other different things. But I will even, in my program, Ready, Set, Go, Speak, I'll have Tanya Smith. She'll come in and she'll talk about video. I'll have Kim Coles talk about speaking. Next month, I'll have Sean Robinson come in and talk about reporting and what that's like. Different people who from the publishing industry. I mean, they're experts in certain things that I'll bring. But for the most part, if you're so widespread, I'm going to listen to this person's program and that person's program. Octavia, are you there? And I'm going to do this and that. And what happens is at a certain point in time, you're like, I'm confused because they're conflicting. Everybody has a different way of doing things. So then you're getting conflicting information from different people and you don't know what to do. And so what happens is you don't do anything. Or you're doing it wrong because it's like, well, they said to do it this way and they said to do it that way. Should I use Aweber or ActiveCampaign or should I use MailChimp? It, really, it depends. But whatever you want to do, but if you have too many different choices and you're listening to so many different people, you won't do anything. So I have someone that says, well, I didn't even know what kind of email service to use. So I didn't pick any. Okay. All right. So not even MailChimp. Now, I will say if you're using Constant Contact, to please come off of that. But the main thing is that Active Campaign is better because it will let you do autoresponders and tagging and that sort of thing. I will say for 2021, if you don't have a VA, because stuff will get more and more complicated online, it's not going away. More people, if you don't have a virtual assistant, I would say to get one. I have several, but Kiera Johnson, All Things Business, she is excellent. She can help set up your Acuity, to your autoresponder, to your Active Campaign, to updating your plugins on your website. I mean, because we weren't born knowing this. If you're just new to this within the last 2 years, it has to be frightening. It really does, because I've been doing this for a long time. It has to be frightening because it's like, what the heck is how? I don't know about coding. I don't know how all these things work, even though they make it simple. But I see people just struggle with just trying to figure out how to set up their Facebook business page or put in a LinkedIn company page. So a VA just helps you with the curve, but you do need guidance, because a VA will only do what you ask them to do. They're not going to be your strategic partner, like to say, oh, you need to do this. So you need something like a Ready, Set, Go, Speak that takes you through what you need to do so that you can give it to the VA to implement. That's really the main thing. What's wrong with Constant Contact? Okay. So Constant Contact was the first one on the scene, kind of like AOL. So nothing wrong with AOL. We can still use it and it works, but it's just not going to have all of the stuff that we need in terms of segmenting your list, tagging your list, and even doing RSS feeds straight out to, like I told you, said every time I do 2 blog posts, Active Campaign will send it out directly. Constant Contact does not have that type of system. It doesn't integrate with a lot of things. One of the main things about Constant Contact is it does not have a double opt-in, meaning that if I were to sign up for Constant Contact, they will say, it'll say like maybe, so it won't say, it'll say, thanks for signing up for a list. Okay, whatever. But it won't send you an email to your email for you to confirm it. The confirming is what is really the main thing that keeps those emails from going into your spam. So if you look at the open rate, Dr. Jackson, what is the open rate for your Constant Contact? If it's been dropping, it's not that people don't like your email, it's that probably they're not getting your email because it's going into spam. When you verify email, it's like the IP addresses talk to each other. And it's like, okay, now I know to go into the inbox because they verified it, versus Constant Contact does not have that. So that's one reason. I had Constant Contact in 2003 or 4, I believe. And sometimes I still, look at, some of the things that I did in Constant Contact, and it was great back then. But in 2021, it's a whole new game because everything is just growing so much more. So Constant Contact, I went from Constant Contact to Aweber. Aweber was good. I use MailChimp because MailChimp integrated with Eventbrite. So I do have a MailChimp account, so I know how that works. But Active Campaign is better than all of them. Not more expensive, but just better in terms of the robustness of what it can do in terms of autoresponders. So let's ask me some PR questions, all these technical stuff. I'm not the geek, I'm a publicist.
I have one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Twitter. I see a lot of people are adjusting to Twitter, not just for the PR, the branding. So just give me some insight. I use it, I connect it once in a while. I don't use it like I have friends actually, but they use it, they're on it all the time. And they actually develop connections, major connections. So what?
So with Twitter, what you can do is you can follow the media that you would like to be in. Okay, for one. So the media, so you make a list of maybe the top 10 media outlets that you want to be in, whether they're local, regional, or national. So you put them on like a list in Twitter. So Twitter, you can really make you'll see where it says list. So you make a list and say if it's the Michigan Chronicle, Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, and various reporters too, because once you hit Detroit Free Press, what Twitter will do is it'll give you recommended people that maybe are reporters that work at the Free Press, or if it's WGIV, NBC, you'll hit the main station, but then it'll also give you different reporters, right? So follow those different reporters, different journalists, so you can see what beats they cover for one, and then see what type of stories that they're covering. Retweet them, come up on their bubble so that they can come back to your Twitter account and say, oh, okay, this guy's an author. He speaks about this. They'll begin to follow you and you follow each other. That's how the media uses Twitter, because they're looking at who's following them, and then they're going back and seeing what else are they up to. So when you follow the major media, so if you say New York Times, yeah, you can follow New York Times, but then underneath it, it'll have different reporters. It'll have the business reporter, lifestyle reporter, food editor, whatever. So you'll keep going that. And even if you hit the food editor, it will still list more reporters down there. So that's why I really think Twitter is really the best place. I've had clients that have had major media, like Today Show, follow them on Twitter, and they've got on those shows. So that's why I say I always talk about Twitter.
Yeah, the president made it so popular. I guess we all should be on it.
Well, I would say Gary Vaynerchuk was one that really made it popular. If you have not gotten this book, I always recommend it. Some of my Christian authors and speakers will be like, oh my goodness, this man has such a potty mouth, but he's a genius in terms of social media. The book is called Crush It. Crushitbook.com. Crushitbook.com. And it's a small book. It's probably less than 100 pages, but he told you how he crushed it. He has a multi-million-dollar business. Now, his business was selling wine and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. He's very, but my point of it is don't take what he says, but just look at his principles that he used, and you can use the same principles. He was not afraid to do video every single day. This was way before Facebook Lives and all that. And he did video every single day. And he was like, hey, this wine goes with Cheerios. This wine goes with sausage, and it's just like crazy stuff. And he has like millions of people following him on Twitter. And he has a major company too that does social media. But yeah, he has a podcast and all that kind of stuff. But his first book was called Crush It, New York Times bestseller, crushitbook.com. And there's some other books too that I want to just recommend, that you support African-American books as well. Make sure that you do that. So if you go to Amazon and you buy and click Gary's book, sometimes it'll suggest other books. Look and see if those other books are about African-Americans and buy that too. And that's the other thing. Just so, how many authors we have in here? Put a 1 in the chat if you're an author. 1, okay. So making sure, okay, Patrice, making sure.
I'm driving, but me too. But I'm driving. Okay, I can't chat.
Okay, right. Making sure that your author page is in Amazon, is set up, and it's robust. When I say it's robust, meaning that you have an author page, maybe I'll share my screen. You have an author page, and when in it, you can put in a video. You can put your blog in there. You can, you see your blog here. So every time you blog, a new blog will go on Amazon. Your bio is in there. Your website is in there. You can follow other people within Amazon. And the reason why is because Amazon is obviously, that's like the largest crazy place where people buy books, right? It's like Amazon. So if someone buys, say, Valerie Burton's book or TD Jakes' book, if your book is people who are bought that book, your book will be suggested. And that's only by really making sure that your Amazon page is on point, and putting a video there. If you don't have a book trailer for your book, please email me back, because I make sure that you get you have to have a book trailer for your book. I mean, it's just too much competition out here for you not to have a book trailer. A book trailer is just like a movie trailer. So if you have a movie trailer, let me show you my sign in into my account here. if you have a movie trailer for a movie, obviously having a book trailer works the same way. About 2 minutes, and making sure I can't my Macintosh here. But making sure, and I find that so many authors don't do that. And the other thing, if you're an author, at the beginning of the year, there's always a turnover of different book awards. So you want to make sure that you are entering yourself into book awards. They're not going to come looking for you like, oh, we heard your book is so good, we're going to give you an award. No, you got to apply. You have to apply for the awards. So when you see other people like, oh, an award winning such and such, it's because they apply for those awards. So make sure that you do that. All right, I can't get in here, guys. I can't get into my own Amazon account. But please make sure that you do that. If you are an author, there are things that you can do, making sure you have awards, making sure that you utilize Amazon to the fullest. And within Amazon, you follow other authors in Amazon. You'll see by their name that you can follow them. And those people that you like, that if it's Dr. Cindy Trim or something like that, you follow her because it says, oh, people who were interested in her book may be interested in your book. So with Octavia, if you have books that of other authors that have the same genre, follow them as well, because what it is Amazon is very intelligent in terms of like trying to show different books that are very similar in category. All right. Yeah, Kush City does. That's Gwen. Yep, I've spoken at her conference many years. Kush City does book trailers. And just so that you know, kushcity.com, they were a brick and mortar Black bookstore for many years. And basically people weren't buying as many books in the store. So she converted into online, and she runs every year the National Black Book Festival. So if you are an author, I would suggest next year be a part of her National Black Book Festival. This year she did it virtual, and she'll probably do it virtual this year. It's in Houston, but it's a fabulous conference to go to for Black authors, National Black Book Festival. Her name is Gwen Richardson. And when she converted to online, that was the main thing. So you've got to learn to adapt. And that's one of the main things. So it is roughly 6 o'clock. It is New Year's Eve. I didn't want to keep everyone. If there are no more questions, I'm going to end this. I just appreciate you all. Hey, Roger, so much, and invite you to join Ready, Set, Go, Speak. The program is $97 a month. Like Michael Wynn said, it's like, oh my God, this is really great. You know, and Kimmy, she had said, oh my God, this is like so much information, but it is going up in January. It will be going up January 1st to $127 a month, but anyone who is in it is grandfathered in for $97 a month. And that's my thing that I just really wanted to make sure that you all knew that. But if you still want to join next month, it's just $127. So we rolled it out. Like I said, it's been a couple of months just to kind of get it going and to get people in it, and they seem to love it. So I'm happy about it because it's been a long time coming in terms of how I want to really structure something like this. So, all right. Thanks, Patrice.
Hi, Miss Pam. How are you?
Hey, good. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, I'm driving too. That's why I didn't put my voice. I had stopped. I do have a question before you go.
Okay.
And my question is, I have a sales funnel. I just got one, I guess, about a month ago, sales funnel. And how do I track most of my clients on Facebook to my funnel?
Okay, so you kind of like went in the middle there. So what is the sales funnel about?
It's about my skincare line.
Okay, so your skincare line. So do you have an email list, first of all?
I have a small list I had sent out already to some of my constituents and all my customers. I'm trying to build my email list up.
Okay, because the whole point of really sometimes doing the sales funnel before you do anything else, it's like you start at the end before it's like, okay, well, where is this coming from? Like, oh my God, where is this coming from? So I just want to say, so this is what I would do. So if I had a skincare line, all right, you have a skincare line. Skin is pretty personal, you know, it's like I don't know you. I'm not putting that on, so it's a personal thing. You want to be vetted, like have someone really talk about your skincare line in terms of maybe influencer, maybe some media coverage, I don't know what type of skincare line. Is it like a natural skincare line? Is it for Black men? Is it for women? What type of skincare line?
It's natural, and it's 100% African American owned company.
Okay.
And it's called Olive Oil Cosmetics.
Okay. So what I'm saying is a sales funnel just by itself for skincare, just based on what it is, you could do some Facebook ads, but what I'm saying is you need to have a little bit more trust going on. People you heard the thing, people buy from people you know, like, and trust. So influencers would be a good way for you to give the product to someone, for them to really talk about your skincare line. Then you can get them into the funnel.
Okay.
That's kind of like the way. And then also too, I think this month Allure magazine has Pharrell, the guy that did Happy. He's on the cover this month. And one of the tricks I used to tell people that you may not get in the magazine right away, but what you can do is get that magazine this month. It's called Allure. Right in, it's all about skincare. It's all about skincare. Pharrell has his thing out. It's all about skincare. I mean, it's Black women, everybody who has a skincare line is in that issue. So what you want to do is write the editor at the front of the magazine and say, I really appreciate your issue, about skincare line. I really enjoyed whatever you enjoy, make it authentic. And then say, I also have a skincare line. I would love to send you some of my products. Is that okay with you? Whatever. But you want to jump in on that conversation because they left you out, and you want to let them know they left you out. So they weren't trying to get no sales funnel. They was trying to get in the media. And once they're in Allure magazine, ALLURE,
okay.
They can now kind of say, oh, as seen in Allure magazine, which is a fashion magazine, which they feel like they've been vetted, like they've been the stamp of approval, versus a sales funnel.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, good. I'll work on that.
Yep. But Pharrell has a skincare line. I don't know how I like Pharrell, so I'll check out his skincare line because he has a brand I trust. So he decided to do skincare. I didn't know what that had to do anything, but yeah. So that's the thing. Black History Month is coming up too. A lot of organizations are looking for Black businesses to spotlight. So make sure that you don't miss that news cycle as well. February, all of you, any of you are Black, don't miss your news cycle. It starts in January, MLK, through the end of February. So make sure that if you're Black, that if the media is looking for Black stories, that you are showing up. All right, that you're showing up and that you have an angle or hook that you want to, or even an article that you can write. And I was just agreeing, people should write more articles than they should, and then pitch them. Because sometimes they don't have time, especially your Black newspapers. They don't have time to send out reporters. Just write the story and send it to them. They'll run it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I paid for a check. What? Oh my goodness. For a challenge sales funnel course. And oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, for now.
And it still hasn't come together.
Oh, sales funnels are like the last thing to really do. They really are. You think
I'm learning that.
I'm an OG. So for now, I'm an OG. So when I started, there was no sales funnel. There was no social media. I had I had a phone, had relationships, being authentic, talking to people, telling them what you offer, and before all this other stuff. Now, the sales funnels are good for scaling, but just when you're starting, please, do the basics, do the fundamentals. Start with one social media. Don't try to, do them all. Connect them together if you can. If you go on LinkedIn, you can do Twitter at the same time, and that may be the 1-2 that you do. Sometimes you can connect your Facebook to your Twitter, or your Twitter to your Facebook. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I have learned. I have. Yeah, so there are going to be changes in 21, definitely.
Good. I learned a big lesson. This was years ago. I had someone put together a website for me, and it was the worst nightmare that I ever had. And the person now is a speaker, and she's a pretty well-known speaker. But she says, Pam, she says, you were so nice. She said, because I had no clue what I was doing. I thought I did. He said, but I just, I was out of my lane. She was out of her lane. She was a good person, but it's like she shouldn't have been doing websites. So anyway, this is a long story, but yeah, so we're cool now. But sometimes people just, like I said, don't get sucked into ego marketing. Ego marketing is when people promise you that they're going to put your picture everywhere. They're going to, you know, ego marketing. I can't even explain it other than the fact that, like, you could speak at this event. Someone says, "Oh, but you've got to pay $1,500." Well, I'm not. No, that's ego. It's like you want to be seen, and you're going to pay. So I always say, build your own home, build your own tribe, do things on your own. Don't go for the ego marketing where, oh, you're going to be in this anthology with 50 women and it's $1,000. Write your own book. It's like, nothing that you really want is going to be quick, easy. So those are the people that appeal to your ego to say, oh, I can just do this quick and easy. On this call, I've not said anything is quick and easy, right? Nothing is quick and easy. It's not quick and easy. It's simple if you follow certain steps. Yes, it's simple, but it's not going to be quick and easy. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I just want to thank you all for jumping on and coming on to my last Zoom of the year. Let's look at everybody's face here. Yes. So there you go. There's Ida over there. Thank you guys. Yes. So this 2020, I am so glad to say goodbye. It has been really the last 2 weeks, especially. I've had a death in my family. It's just really been rough. It was like, okay, just when you think 2020 can't get any worse, it's like, really? So 2021 is definitely going to be on the upbeat. Like I said, just make sure that you stay focused.
Yeah, let your friend Portia know that we're still praying for her.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, she's coming around. There's a song by Vicky Yowie called Peace. What is it? We've been playing that today to each other. I Am Peace. I don't know if you know that song. But yeah, that's just one of the things. We just, peace is the thing that really right now, all that we can really hope for, at this point. For those of you all don't know, my godson was killed, and December 14th. So between that and the end of the year has been really, really rough. Emotions all over the place. Thank goodness I have friends that are mental health therapists that can help you through grief and things like that. And I've had some other clients that Shannon Battle, she's a counselor. So God puts the right people around you. So it's been, just looking at the blessing in that, because it definitely, if I didn't have certain people in my life, I would have lost my mind. So I just really just think that, but she wrote a song. What is it? It's called I'm at Peace. And that's a song by Vicky Yowie. So anyway, so that's kind of like our song. So for 2021, it's just more to come. Just stay focused. Michelle, Kimberly, Roger, all you guys. Marcy, I appreciate you. Don't fall for the hype. Stay focused. If you need any help, Ready, Set, Go, Speak is there. It's a program that is solid. It's got real information in there. Anything that you need, I definitely will tell you the truth. Anything that you need. Otherwise, I will say, I don't know. But if it's something that I have, my network is your network.
Okay,
thank you so much, Pam.
Thank
you,
everyone.
Thank you.
Right.
Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Hi, Dr. Lisa.
Thank you
Good.
very much.
Thank you.
Blessed,
I love
everybody.
you guys. All right.
Love you too. Thank you.
Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.